Good morning. So we woke up to a frosty morning, a little bit cold in this tent. Brian got up early, made breakfast. Got down to a mess. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Today is Sunday, May 30th, and this is my view for breakfast and coffee. Cheers.
All right, here we are Sunday morning. Everyone's all packed up, loaded up, ready to go. Of course, we had to get the poser shots here, you know, because IFS doesn't off-road. Anyway, it was a cold night. It was, we woke up to frosty grass. It was cold, it was wet, but it was fun as hell. So, say goodbye to the Sabo River. And on we go to the next stop, which is hopefully lunch. Lots of soft sand out here. Should be pretty fun. We got about, I think, a little over 100 miles from this point on to make up to get to the West Coast. So we're gonna hit as many trails as we can between here and Lake Michigan. This is not fun.
A lot of bouncing right now, huh?
Yeah. Oh, not good for boobs or bladders. I'm just talking about me. Using the crawl control. So all weekend I had misspoke and I was calling it crawl control when in fact Ford calls it trail control. And this is basically like an off-road cruise control where you use the buttons on the steering wheel. Once you press a button on the center console, you can control your speed up to 5 miles an hour, and the truck's electronics take care of all of the driving forward and the traction, which works amazing. So we did run into a lot of these trails that were real soft, kind of deep sand, but they were washboarded so bad. They were just pitching us left to right, back and forth. I don't know if it's from, I know some people say it's from the side-by-sides ripping down the trails and the way they kind of tear up the sand there. I'm not sure, but it definitely made for an uncomfortable ride, and you couldn't really go very fast. I feel like we're at rocks and valleys. These types of trails. So again, like I said in video part 1, being that we had very limited cell service back here, GPS just wasn't really an option, and we were real fortunate that Paul and Carrie knew exactly what they were doing with the paper maps, tracing everything out on the ORV trails that were listed on these maps. And some of these trails that we encountered, obviously people had not been down in a long time because they did a lot of limb clearing and even trees that had fallen. So a lot of these trails, we were the first ones on them in quite a long time, it looked like. So that was kind of cool too. And we do owe a big thank you to Paul, John, and Chris. They did do a lot of the limb clearing for us with the newer vehicles to try to limit as many scratches as we possibly could. In some cases, it just wasn't possible. We were inevitably going to get some scratches, but they did a really good job on clearing all the major stuff for us. So yeah, it is. Big thank you.
That is so cool how that works.
Mm-hmm. What's the temp?
Temp? Same as it's been all day.
Only thing that never comes across right in these videos is the angle of some of these descents and hill climbs. The video just doesn't capture sometimes on how steep some of these really are.
Hole right here we're going in. Straight down. So this is a 11-degree descent. 12 degrees.
It's beautiful out here.
So this was another pretty good, long, steep, sandy hill climb we encountered. And at the very top, there was a little bit of a ledge. I don't know, probably about 1.5 to 2 foot on the right side, and you had to make a hard right. So it made a little lip you had to kind of bump up. So I decided to try the trail control on this also, and just seeing how the truck would do just crawling up it.
Crawl control 2 mile an hour. Let's go 3.
It's a nice trail. I feel like it's too slow.
Now we're going uphill at 8 degrees. Oh god, that is so cool. We have off-road cruise control. Now we're almost to the west coast. Not sure how many miles away, but we had to jump on some paved roads for a little bit, and we shot off onto this trail. Oh my god. Here we are. This is night number 3. We have made our way to, oh crap. What lake is this? Healy Lake? Healy Lake in Michigan. We're about 30 minutes from the coast of Lake Michigan. Everybody else set up camp, took off for a drive. Obviously, we cannot. One of the downfalls here, but had a real good day today. All the trails, I think the trails we hit today were the funnest ones all weekend. Got into some challenging stuff. Got to play finally with the crawl control of the truck. That was really fun. Used it about 4 times, some different hills, different things, and really impressed with that. So we kind of simplified the get up tonight. Didn't bust everything out like we did before. But real happy. Lisa's been taking notes on things that we need to change or do differently, and things we're just not happy with. So we're gonna talk about that. See how we can refine the setup and make things a little bit simpler. Seemed like each morning we got a little better at packing up and getting out quicker each time, and seemed like we made more free space in the truck each time we packed it a little differently. So, but there's definitely items we brought along that we didn't need to, that could have stayed home. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna have one final good night here. Sit around the campfire. We even open up the rain flies on it tonight. So anyway, let's have a little discussion on some of the things we learned so far. What do you think? You ready?
Sure.
Let's go grab some fire.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so we've been taking notes this whole weekend on how everything worked in our new setup, and we learned a lot of things. But first, I think we owe a big thanks to Paul and Carrie Porter. Their new little upstart business, the Discover 4x4 Adventures. Everything we did today was kind of a trial run for them on what they're going to offer to people, taking them on weekend adventures across Michigan, hitting some 2-tracks, seeing some local attractions and stuff. I thought it was really fun. It was something a lot different than we normally do. No extreme off-roading at all, no real chance to break anything. For us, I think it was more relaxing than anything. The only thing that wasn't relaxing was the amount of crap that we brought along that we probably didn't use. So
Other than that, they did an excellent job planning, mapping it out.
yes, yeah, the way they mapped everything out. I mean, we went from 2-track to 2-track, trail to trail. We did very, very little pavement this entire weekend, so that was pretty awesome. So let's talk about how did you like the tent?
I liked the tent. It took some getting used to setting up.
But every time we set it up and we took it down, we got better at it, and we got faster at it. So hopefully tomorrow morning we'll really fly through it. So I think probably the most questions I see people on other videos ask about is it cold to sleep in one?
At 30 degrees, yes.
Our first time spending 3 days in a rooftop tent, it was at or below freezing the last 2 nights, and tonight I think it's going to be 30 degrees. So yeah, we were cold. We've been cold. We have a crap sleeping bag we discovered. The memory foam mattress topper and the memory foam pillows do not do good in the cold. So it's like sleeping on a piece of bread dough. I don't recommend it at all.
And we share a sleeping bag, so
Yes.
we are going to invest in the Mummy sleeping bag. Each of us will have our own.
Yep, so we have to upgrade the sleeping bags for sure. Instead of trying to bundle together, we're gonna have separate bags. I think that's much better anyway. But the tent, I mean, once we were in, we were covered up. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, it was cold for sure.
And then I think the only other drawback to the tent is having attached to the vehicle, not having a vehicle to leave and explore the area, unless we're riding with someone else.
So like right now, the whole point of this trip was to go from coast to coast, east coast to west coast. We are less than 30 minutes from Lake Michigan right now. Honestly, I wasn't feeling very well today. I had a bad headache. We got here, I just wanted to set up camp and just eat some dinner and relax. They all jumped in their Jeeps and their Toyota and took off to go see the sunset. We've done that many times at Silver Lake Sand Dunes. I know what the sun looks like setting on Lake Michigan, so I felt like I didn't really need another picture of that. I just kind of wanted to, we've been getting into camp late every night, so I kind of wanted a night for us to just, nothing rushed, let's just chill and relax. So they went and did their thing, but that is a big downfall of the rooftop tent. Once you're at site and you set up, you're pretty much stuck here.
But that is the point of overlanding too. You're gonna be trailing and then just stopping in the evening to set up camp. So I think it worked out well for what we used it for this weekend.
It was very fun going to a different spot every night. The traveling, getting to a new spot each night, not just, I don't think we would take this if we wanted to go to a campground for like 3-4 days, because we would never be able to leave or move. So what we did this weekend, I think it was awesome for. All right, so for this trip, we did buy some specific items that we've never had before. We bought the Iceco 32-liter refrigerator freezer. We bought a Bluetti 300-watt lithium battery pack to power it through the night. We had our brand new Blackstone 17-inch grill. Those things I think worked awesome this weekend. The Bluetti, the way it kept the refrigerator running, it never got below 60% after running it for 2 days. 2 nights, everybody here was charging their phones off it at the same time. We ran, the tent has a LED light in it. We have an extension that runs to that. So we have light from there. I think not having to deal with ice and coolers and spilling water, soggy food.
Yeah, no soggy food. That was great.
That worked out. That was money well spent.
No frozen hands digging, looking for what you need.
Like, what, our steaks tonight were still, like...
I packed a bag of frozen vegetables Friday morning before we left, and they were still froze tonight when I got them out.
Yeah.
So 2.5 days.
Yeah, that thing was super nice. So those things, good additions. We're definitely not changing that. Some things that we do need to change is probably the amount of stuff that we packed and how we packed it, because it's in a pickup truck with a tonneau cover and a tent on top of it. Like when we stop on the trail side for lunch, we would literally have to empty out the entire bed to get to, you know, all the stuff we needed if we wanted to cook lunch, and the cooking utensils and the gas tanks. So we need to we need to come up with a better way instead of packing one tote with just camping supplies, one tote with just food, one tote with dry goods and the cooking stuff. I think we need to do it differently, like have a tote for lunchtime, have a tote for the stuff we would use at dinner time, stuff like that. Or we need to come up with
we're still trying to figure it out. I think one tote and really downsize what we're bringing.
Yeah, downsize. Yeah, when we get home, we're gonna go through when we unpack everything. If we didn't touch it on this trip, it ain't coming out for the next one. So
Yeah.
I think
It'd be different if we were setting up camp and staying in one place. Maybe we could bring more, but this is supposed to be roughing it, you know.
yeah. And
So,
we needed
yeah.
to be able to set up camp quick and break it down quick in the morning. And I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like everybody was waiting for us, but I felt like it could have been a lot more efficient.
And things didn't end up in the same tote that they were in originally, so
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a mess, but we got it figured out.
Yep. So, I guess to put a stamp on this, it was an awesome weekend. Really enjoyed it. I'm so grateful that Paul and Carrie invited us to come along. The deer offs, John and Randy, always awesome hanging out, wheeling and camping with them. This is our first time hanging out with Chris and Elise. They're a riot. Can't wait to do more stuff with them too. So
It's a good group.
it was a very good group. They're my kind of people. So we'll end it there. So yeah, I think the first trip was a success. And if you got any questions or any input, whatever, put it in the comments if you want. And we'll see you on the next adventure. So
We're gonna
bye.
walk down to the lake.
Yes,
Ready?
let's go see the lake.
Okay.
Let's go. Get up with me. Here's the beach at our campground. Matter of fact, these campgrounds that we stayed at last night and tonight, these are all, what are these considered? Carrie said state forest parks.
Yeah.
Basically, they work off the honor system. They don't have anybody that works here. They just have a drop box. You come in, fill out a card, and leave your $10 in a little drop box, and that's all it costs you for the night. No electricity, but they do have a hand pump for well water, so you can get some fresh water here to refill your water jugs and stuff. So this is oh yeah, someone's out there fishing way out there.
Picking up trash.
But, man, we had a canoe to go out. So yeah, this is a nice little get up here for $10 a night. And hard to beat this. It's definitely been one of the cheaper vacations we've had, for sure.
I think the first night it was $10. Tonight's $13.
13, oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is worth the extra $3. Love it.
Very much so.
Well, for busting down camp for the third and final time of the weekend, I think we did pretty good. This is definitely the quickest and fastest that we had done it all weekend. I still think we can make some changes to make it even better, but not too bad. So one last group photo with the gang, and then we headed out to Pentwater, Michigan. So at the very least, me and Lisa could say that we did do the coast to coast and we saw Lake Michigan.